Welcome back to the School of Imperfection. I'm your host, Mikie Kristi. You know, the world is not a judgment-free zone. I don't know if you've noticed that. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you probably have. A lot of assessments, a lot of hot takes. And in a world like that, it can be difficult to be vulnerable. It can be difficult to, share the shit that's happening. And that's among the reasons why this conversation with Kristi Tanner, aka Mocktail Mommy, is really important. Kristi is a recovering alcoholic who very publicly shared her story while she was in the shit, for lack of a better term. And in sharing her story of the pain that she was going through and the mistakes that she had made and just the feelings that she was feeling and the journey that she was on, it resonated with a lot of people. And the bravery it must have taken to do that in a world that is not a judgment-free zone is the sort of thing that we like to celebrate and hope to aspire to, really. Kristi is a sobriety advocate, a creator and entrepreneur, and she's helped bring more visibility to the growing sober, curious, and alcohol-free movement. So after her own journey with sobriety, Kristi began sharing her experience online with honesty and also humor and a refreshing lack of judgment. And then she went on to found Sober Social, an alcohol-free bottle shop and community space in Wisconsin, which became part of a larger conversation about how we gather and celebrate and connect without everything revolving around alcohol, which is something I'm still figuring out how to do. And now through Mocktail Mommy, Kristi continues to create space for people who are sober curious, taking a break, or simply just rethinking their relationship with drinking. And she's, thoughtful, funny, deeply honest, and someone who has turned a personal transformation into something that helps other people feel less alone and heal, which is great. So also, full disclosure, Kristi may or may not have been my high school sweetheart, which, spoiler alert, we may or may not touch on. Don't worry about it. Don't make it weird. Enjoy the podcast.
I think the thing about sobriety is a lot of people think I'm going to quit drinking and I'm going to get sober. And at some point I'm going to get there to that bar where I'm sober and doing it and whatever. But the thing is, there isn't a there. There isn't I've made it. Now you've finished the marathon. There is no finish line for sobriety. So a lot of people I think are like, okay, is this all it is? Is this what I got sober for? Is this what I really want? And the work is continuing on, right? The first 3 years of my sobriety sucked ass.
Yeah.
I cried for 18 months. Every single night I cried myself to sleep, bawling my eyes out about how I was going to be a single sober mom with these 4 kids during the pandemic. It was a mess. But I knew that drinking and escaping and not dealing with it was not going to help me get through it. You can't go around it. It's going to keep coming up. If you don't learn the lesson, you're going to keep getting the opportunity to learn the lesson until you learn it.
What was it? Because I think that's common where it's you got to go through it, you got to feel it, and maybe everyone's it is different. And sometimes I think, it's the thing I've been avoiding, so I got to do this. And then you do the thing and it's that didn't fix me. So what else do I need to go through? You know what I mean? What was it for you?
I think I used alcohol to tell myself that the life that I had, the life that I showed people, the life on Instagram, the one that I sent on the Christmas cards, that it was enough, that it was good, and that's what I should have wanted, and that I had done it, right? I had kids, I had a husband, we had a home. It's okay, this is the white picket fence story, isn't it? Except I was miserable. I was really unhappy. But I thought, I don't think I'm allowed to say that because I have everything that people want. Am I allowed to be dissatisfied? And I felt like I really wasn't. And because my feelings, I didn't feel like I could share them, I stuffed them down with alcohol. And what that allowed me to do is just stay uncomfortable and keep allowing things that made me uncomfortable, let them keep coming. right? Let them keep coming at me and not dealing with it and not saying what I knew was true. And so, alcohol was my easy button. It was like the easiest way to be like, all right, okay, we have an argument. Well, I'll have 2 glasses of wine or 7,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like the kids don't want to get in the car. I'll have a glass of wine. That'll make it easier. It became my go-to for any time I felt uncomfortable. There's a lot of parts of life that are really uncomfortable, and checking out did not serve me.
Yeah. And it feels like, thanks for sharing that, by the way. I saw something, remember Steve-O from Jackass?
Yeah.
Remember that show? So he's sober now. And I saw a clip from him that made a lot of sense to me too. And he was like, alcohol isn't the disease, it's the cure. The problem is some of us just it is uncomfortable to be in your own skin, just to be alive, and I think for some people it's more uncomfortable. I mean, some people it's not at all. And he was, and just that flipped perspective was like, oh shit. Yeah, that resonates. You know what I mean? Because I'm not sober. And there's times where I for sure rely more heavily on alcohol than I should. And there's times where I'm like, man, I should not be drinking at all. And sometimes I'm like, this is fine. It's fun. I love going out and having drinks. It's one of my favorite things. Can I do this without drinking? I don't know. So maybe that's a good place to talk about. What do you do now? And what do you do for fun when you can't drink alcohol anymore? And what the hell should I do?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. When you first get sober, I thought I was going to be like this sad, depressed, sober, boring person, hermit, that I would never go out again, because I felt like alcohol was everywhere and it was socially acceptable and it was sort of the lubricant to connection. And the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. And when we drink, we not only disconnect from the people that we're with, that we want to be connecting to, we first disconnect from ourselves.
Sure. Well, it feels like you disconnect from that part of yourself that's making you feel uncomfortable or overthinky or shitty. And it's like, oh, cool, I turned that off. We'll put that aside.
Right. And I guess my problem was it came back the next day every morning with like a whole bigger pile of shit attached to it, with like shame, guilt, confusion, questioning. And like, it wasn't like, oh, I think I should maybe stop drinking, and I just stopped. Like, this was a years long process of trying, because I really didn't think I could go out and have fun. And I'm not willing to be home and alone and isolated. That just sounds horrible to me. So, I mean, I did a little bit of isolation at the beginning, but it was sort of naturally done for me. I was 9 months sober when the pandemic hit, and everything shut down. I bought my house the day before it was announced, and it was just me and 4 kids under 7. And so a lot of that was sort of removed from me. And then when I first started getting back into the social scene, it was really hard, because people would be like, want to go to happy hour, except for people who know, and now everyone knows that I don't drink, right? Like, if you know me, you know I don't drink. They're like, well, we're going to go to happy hour, but we're not going to ask Kristi because we're drinking. So then they didn't ask me, right? So then I'm like, oh man, like, they're not really my friends, I guess. Well, maybe it's not that they're not my friends, but they don't know how it's going to make me feel. And so part of the process of getting sober for me has been educating other people around me that love me and want to spend time with me about how they can do that. And yes, if you want to invite me to happy hour, I would love to come. I really would. And if the bar doesn't have an NA option, luckily I have a store. And so I have tons of NA options, and I will bring one myself. So it's not about, like, I thought, okay, if I get sober, I can't go places where alcohol is. Mikie, that's everywhere. Alcohol is everywhere. It's on the sidelines of kids' soccer games at 10 a.m. There's a bar. It's in the airports. It's at every restaurant. It's at baby showers, weddings, parties. It's everywhere. It's a part of our society. And if you think that you're going to get sober and not go where alcohol is, you're going to be unhappy. So you have to get sober and get comfortable being yourself without a substance helping you be somebody that you're maybe not naturally, right? Like really step into who you are and be comfortable showing up as you wherever you are. But I think in the beginning, I forced myself into party situations too early, right? At the very beginning of my sobriety, when I first got out of a 2-month inpatient rehab, I came home and I was like, I'm going to the parties. I'm going to the parties. Yeah. But I didn't bring anything. So I just had an empty hand and every person said, can I get you a drink? What is the one thing I don't want to be talking about at this party is why I don't have a drink. So part of the solution is always having a drink in your hand. If you have a drink in your hand, how many times, Mikey, do you go up to somebody and say, oh, what are you drinking? Do you care what they're drinking?
No, just that they're helping me also drink.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what's in your glass. Nobody. The person who cares, when I was drinking so much and I thought people were counting my drinks, I only thought that because I was counting other people's drinks.
I don't know if I do. Now I'm trying to, do I do that? I definitely assess. I notice if someone's not drinking and there is a feeling for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, what does that say about me?
Yeah.
Is that about me? What does that say about them?
Yeah.
Is it a judgment thing?
Yeah.
Is it a fun thing? Is it a health thing? What kind of thing is it? And, I guess the bigger question is, why is alcohol able to polarize us so much?
Well, you have this thing that you're using as a lubricant to avoid your feelings. It is socially forced upon us. I mean, when you think about every high school, college movie, it is get fucked up. And maybe that's not as much, but God, Lord, it was just black out as much as, and then especially if you're a guy, it's like, yes, let's black out as hard as we can. Let's do the dumbest shit. And then let's talk about it in the morning. And truthfully, some of my favorite times have been talking about what fucking idiots we were the night before, because that is fun, but just massively destructive. And it was a different time, and is that the only type of fun to have? What if we went mountain biking instead? But I don't know, that was the prescribed fun that we were delivered. You're in high school, get fucked up, go to a party, Society has told you that you need to get fucked up. You got to buy the alcohol that they told you to buy, because whatever marketing campaign told you that if you want to be this type of person, you got to drink that type of drink. So then you're identifying with not only alcohol in general, but the brand of alcohol, because it's so targeted towards you. And this, by the way, is some of the stuff that this podcast is about for me, because I am in marketing. I make shit and I sell shit for a living. And there's nothing that we make and sell that I feel like, oh, fuck, I'm selling my soul. We're selling cigarettes to kids, nothing like that, or cigarettes at all, Lord knows. But even still, using that system that is perpetuating these ideas is a challenge for me. So, but anyway.
Yeah, I think, the overall industry is really interesting. I don't know if you've heard of this book. It's called Quit Like a Woman by Holly Whitaker.
Okay.
And she wrote it, I think it came out in 2022 or something. But before I got sober, before I went to all of my inpatient rehabs, I tried everything outside, right? So I tried online programs and all this stuff. And one of the things I tried was her online program about sobriety. And I would do the work during the week and do the homework and show up on the calls. And then I would drink all weekend. Be like, good job, Kristi.
Yeah, totally.
You made it 4 days. Time to celebrate. But because I met her in this program, she wrote this book 18 months later. And the entire book is about the alcohol, big alcohol industry, and how she thinks it's probably going to end up being big tobacco. And I think she's probably right. I think the more, certainly this year in 2025, especially in 2025, the alcohol industry has really taken a turn. So mocktails have been sort of on the rise in the last couple of years, these non-alcoholic products. And then in January, 3rd of this year, the Surgeon General warning said that alcohol should be classified as a group 1 carcinogen and that it should be put on labels, on alcohol labels, right? That it causes cancer.
Mhm.
And since I own a store where people buy these products, not only was January like huge for dry January, but there were people coming in there being like, I just heard the Surgeon General warning. Like, did you know that this causes cancer?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, we've actually known that for 40 years. But the marketing industry has told us that alcohol is what you do to celebrate, to connect, to have fun. When something's really hard, you bring a bottle of wine. When you're celebrating, you bring a bottle of champagne. They've told us what to do and what products to buy. And nobody questioned it for a really, really long time. But I think not just like alcohol, but everywhere. I think about college students now. Mikie, when we were in college, I didn't even wash my face in the morning. Now these college kids have these like 47-step skincare routines, and they track their macros, and they eat fruits and vegetables. And I didn't do any of this stuff until I was almost 40. So it's like mindful consumption across the board in every aspect, I think, is on the rise.
Yeah. And the data is showing that too, right? Like kids are drinking less, which is good. Like they figured it out, which they wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
We figured out smoking.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't figure out alcohol. They figured out alcohol and smoking, although they're vaping, I think, which is probably not great. So, there's always something. I'm pretty sure there's lead in that. Do we want to mention that we dated in high school? Is this relevant to tell the full story here?
Yeah. It was funny. I was thinking about we were going to be recording, and I was like, I don't know if he wants to tell people we dated, but that was like literally 25 years ago. So,
roughly. Well, the reason I bring it up is because I've sort of watched your story as it's unfolded. And I've just from when you first started posting about getting sober, I was like, fuck, like just like the bravery and the shamelessness to not only do that, but then to do it online and just share the shit you're feeling as you're feeling it, which then led into what you do now. I'll let you tell that story, but can you take us through that journey of like, how did you get the willpower to start sharing that stuff online and then grow into your business?
I was first thinking, and it's like, oh, we met in high school. And when I think about my addiction to alcohol, my first addiction was to food. I don't know if you remember this, and I have not thought about this in a very, very long time. But this morning, I was thinking about when we would go out to dinner, and I would freak out that there's going to be butter on my vegetables or something. I was so worried about calories and all this stuff. And I realized that was sort of my first addiction, was like this space in my brain that I couldn't like get off this loop of whatever the thing was. And my first thing was food. And I know that you saw that sort of up close and personal, And I don't talk about that a lot because I just like sort of forgot about it. But I do think that it's important to like realize that this same pattern comes up other places than just alcohol and drugs.
Sure.
Right? It can be with anything. But like with drinking, right? Like I think I drank because I wanted to be fun. I wanted people to like me. I mean, I think I drank because other people did it. When I first started in high school, I drank at one party sophomore year and I threw up everywhere and I was super embarrassed. And my parents had to come get me at New Year's Eve on sophomore year. It was the worst.
You just unlocked a core memory for me. And it was that New Year's Eve. Because before we dated and we had a successful relationship, but before that, I had a big crush on you in science class. And I remember that we became really good friends. And it was that New Year's, you got really drunk and you threw up and you were crying about the dude you were dating. I was nursing you as you were throwing up, crying about that guy. And I was like in love with you. And I was like, this is terrible. And I forgot about that until you just said that. And I was like, yeah, I remember that New Year's. I was fucking there.
I feel like the feelings that I felt that night, like afterwards, right? So I got blacked out and all this stuff and ruined the party. And my parents made me call and apologize. They made me sit at the dinner table and eat dinner and tell my brother how much it sucked to be hungover. Like it just really sucked.
Mm.
And I was like, I don't think I ever want to do this again. This is like so terrible. And so I was the designated driver and I was so happy to be the designated driver. I didn't need alcohol to hang out and go to parties. But I think what I thought was the funnest about it was that you weren't supposed to do it.
Sure. Yeah.
I think, especially in high school, I was like, oh, I'm going to follow the rules. I don't want to follow the rules. I hate rules. I think rules are made to be broken, right? Like, I don't like them. I don't want to fit in a box. I don't want to stand in line. Like, I don't want to. No, thank you.
Sure.
Then I went to college and there were no parents and it was sort of like Girls Gone Wild. And I thought the goal is, get through classes so that you can make it to 4:30 p.m. and start partying.
Yeah.
Like 6 days a week. And then on Sunday, you party all day. Like this is perfect. And it was socially acceptable in college. I was really fun. I was a bartender. Everyone else was drinking, getting blacked out. And we were having those funny conversations the next morning about who did you talk to and did you kiss him and blah, blah, blah. But then there would be some times where it would be like, I can't remember where I left my car. And be like, I can't remember where I left my purse. I can't remember where I left my dignity. And these things started sort of happening more and more. These things never happened when I didn't drink. Not once. I didn't lose my car. I didn't lose my purse.
Sure.
And I didn't lose my dignity when I was sober. I didn't. But all those things started happening when I was drinking. And all through college, it was sort of like, okay, it's fine, whatever. I had one roommate give me an article from a newspaper and it was like highlighted with a highlighter. And she posted it on my door. And it's like about blackout drinking and how bad it is for you.
Mm.
And so there were people in my life who started seeing that my drinking was different than other people's drinking. I thought I drank like everyone else, but I also really prided myself on being able to drink like the guys. So I was cool with puking and rallying. Perfect. Run out of space from drinking too much, vomit and just drink some more, right? I literally just didn't. I just wanted to be at the party. I didn't want to be left out. I didn't want to be a nobody. And I thought alcohol was required to do all those things. So I graduated. I moved to Chicago. I got a really big job. And my drinking changed from like drinking every day to drinking, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I changed from drinking hard alcohol and beer and whatever to like Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc. So like that's sophisticated and perfect. Maybe a glass of Pinot Noir, If you drink fancy wine, then you're sophisticated. And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be sophisticated and I wanted to be at the happy hours. And before I had kids, that's kind of what we did. I met this guy, we got engaged, we both had good jobs, and we did like tour day Chicago happy hours / restaurant style every night. It's what we did. We connected over food and wine. And then I became a mom and I couldn't drink for 9 months. And it was the first time it was like, oh, okay, well, that sort of sucks. That's lame. But it wasn't a big problem, right? Like I could stop and it was fine. However, when I had my first son, I brought champagne to the hospital. Like, when they're like, pack your hospital bag, you need pajamas and a thing for the baby. And I'm like, and champagne, obviously. Hello.
Right.
So like I have this baby at 9 a.m. and I'm like, whoa. Like, can we talk about what a brand new mom breastfeeding should not be doing? Probably not drinking alcohol.
Right.
Probably not. But again, we celebrate in society with like, let's have champagne. Congrats on the baby. Everyone sort of thought it was cute and fancy. And it's like, if you make drinking cute, then it's okay, right? So then I got pretty good at that. I can make drinking cute. Like, yeah. But after I had my first baby, then I went back to work. I got pregnant right away again. After I had my second baby, I ended up staying home. And when I stayed home, I did not realize what a huge change it would be for me. My husband's life did not change significantly. He still traveled and worked and entertained and did all the things. I now had, instead of a job and colleagues and adults to talk to and a job to do, now I'm home with two babies under 18 months old. We've just moved to the suburbs of Chicago, and sort of my entire social community is gone. And so I was isolated, right? And alone with these babies. And so I'm like, how do I make staying home with kids more fun?
Right.
Mimosas make everything really fun. I really thought they did.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I don't know if everyone thinks drinking and hanging out with kids is okay, but maybe if I host all the play dates, I'll never have to leave. Nobody will know how much I've had to drink. I don't have to drive. People come to me. Like, I thought I had figured the solution out. I was just going to host play dates all the time and just sort of drink all day. And I sort of did. I sort of did that. After my third baby, I got pregnant again the next year. And after my third son, he got diagnosed with a cleft lip and palate in utero at 20 weeks old. And so I knew he was going to be born with a birth defect. And that really changed the way I felt about myself as a human.
You felt responsible for that?
100%.
Is there any science to back that up, or you just felt that way?
Just felt that way. There is, there's no way that you can cause a cleft lip and palate. You can't cause it. But I felt like my body had failed me, or I had failed my unborn son, or done something wrong, and he wasn't even here yet. And my husband at the time was not very supportive, and we were not on the same page about kind of how to handle this information. And that was probably the first time I was like, wow, I don't know if this is really gonna work, my marriage. But when I had Hudson, so he was born, and I couldn't breastfeed, so I did pumping. He had 2 major surgeries his first year, at 9 weeks old and at 9 months old, to do a lip repair and a palate repair. And I had 3 boys under 3.5. And I went to downtown Chicago for, occupational, physical, speech, and feeding therapy 4 times a week with all 3 of those kids with me. And my life felt like this never-ending Groundhog's Day of doctor's appointments, getting in and out of the car, changing diapers. It was so hard. It was so hard and so isolating. And the only thing that I felt like gave me relief or sent a signal to my brain that I was off the clock and not responsible right now was when I was drinking. And so after Hudson was born, I started having not just bigger consequences, because I think drinking is fun, right? Drinking starts out fun, and then drinking is fun with consequences for kind of a long time, right? And it's oh, I gotta dial it back. I have to put in some rules. I have to eat some food, whatever, to mitigate those consequences. But drinking for me was not fun. Drinking became only consequences. I don't know when it went from drinking is fun with consequences to drinking is only consequences. Couldn't identify it, but was there for a long time in the drinking is only consequences. But I was living in denial of being I'm going to figure it out. I'm got to eat dinner before happy hour, shoot, all this stuff that I thought I could sort of outsmart addiction if I got the right information. I'm really smart. I'm really smart. Give me the info. I'll figure it out. I did not figure it out. So I had all these little kids. I felt really disconnected from my husband. I had this group of women in the suburbs that pretended like we were all friends, but really we were all just drinking buddies. And I went to this party and I got blackout drunk and got all upset and started walking home and passed out on the street median. And the cops picked me up and took me to a psych ward, and I was there for 8 days. My husband came and said, "You can't come home." And I'm like, fine. I can't come home. Fine. Where should I go? What would you like to do with me? And so he's like, "You need to go to rehab." And I'm like, fine, I'll go to rehab. So I go to rehab in California at this really fancy place, right? And I'm like, email every female on the planet that I know. And I'm like, "Dear everyone, this is Kristi. I'm in California on a little mommy vacay right now. Just had a little mental breakdown. Don't worry, I'm not an alcoholic. That's crazy. I'm getting it all figured out. Like, I'm going to come home. It's going to be all good." Like, I emailed this to everyone I know that I am in rehab and also not an alcoholic. People are like, perfect. So I stay sober for the 30 days I'm in rehab. I stay sober for 32 days when I get home. And then the Steelers played the Bears and we had tickets and I went, and so I drank. And I thought since I didn't get blacked out that day that I'd probably figured it out while I was in rehab. I was good to go again. So I thought I'd just drink carefully, you know? We moved from Illinois to Wisconsin, and 2 weeks after we did that, I totaled my car. Drinking it went from bad to worse. I got pregnant again with my fourth daughter, my fourth kid. We were not in a good place at all in our marriage. I thought about drinking the entire time I was pregnant. I was angry that I couldn't drink because I was dealing with things that I felt like justified my alcohol consumption. If only people knew what I was going through, they would be the first one to get me a drink. And in fact, when people sometimes did hear what I went through, that's how they responded, is like, "Oh my God, I would have been drinking all the time," you know? And things they were really hard. So I found out something, about my marriage that changed sort of everything for me when I was 7 months pregnant with my daughter. And I drank when I was 7 months pregnant. I went and bought a bottle of wine. I locked myself in the basement and cried. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this life with 4 kids and the life that I now have. So when she was born, our relationship was just so bad. When she was born, she was born 2 days before Halloween. I got out of the hospital on the 30th. On the 31st, I took my 4 kids who were 6, 4, 2, and 36 hours old to a party in the neighborhood just by myself for Halloween. My husband was not there. I got blackout drunk with a 36-hour-old baby at this neighborhood party where people have only known me for 6 months. And the entire neighborhood was like, what is happening? Right? As they should be. But nobody knew me well enough to say anything directly, right? Like, you're not going to go tell some woman you don't know that you're concerned about her. So nobody really said much. And my drinking just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And things at home kept getting worse and worse. And I was throwing up and I was blacking out. And, it was horrible. But I was so sad and depressed. And quite frankly, I did not really want to be here. And I didn't care that people thought I had a drinking problem. It was a really awful time. I got served divorce papers in May of 2019 without a conversation. And I had just gotten out of a psych ward again for suicidal ideation. And I get these papers and I'm like, oh my God, this is so real. This is real now. And I think that was the first time like I didn't drink in response to some outside stimuli coming into my realm because it seemed too big. It seemed like alcohol couldn't fix these papers. And so I stayed sober for about a month. And then my husband and I went on like a date and it didn't go well. And that led to the most destructive 6 weeks of my drinking in my career. I was blacked out all the time. I got blacked out at a nail appointment and somebody had to come pick me up because I couldn't drive my car home. I stopped being fun and I became whoever's liability I was that I was around. And I hated that. But so this last 6 weeks was really bad. July 2nd, I got a DUI and we had a conversation that morning that made me upset. And so I drank. And after I got my first DUI, my parents picked me up from jail and brought me back home. And my husband was like, we're going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out. It's going to be okay. And I'm like, I'm never drinking again. I can't believe it. This has happened to me. Like I'm in jail. Blah. So I'm like, I'm never drinking again. 36 hours later, I got my second DUI and I went to jail in Gary, Indiana. I blew a .24, which is 3 times the legal limit. And I got strip searched and a mugshot and handcuffed to the wall and put in a cell. And I think that was probably the first time like that my addiction showed me just how much it had taken from me. I never imagined myself in jail. And I, at that moment, felt like, like all I want to do is be a good mom. And I don't think I've been doing that. And my kids deserve that. And they deserve somebody healthier than me. And I think for a long time, I thought I'll just check out because I don't know how to fix myself. But when I was in jail, I realized I did not want to check out. I did want to be this person that I knew I could be. So I'm in jail for 36 hours and my parents drove 5 hours to come pick me up from jail at 34 and a mom of 4 going through a divorce in another state. My dad's face was like, so we're driving home and I'm looking into rehabs in the back of my parents' car. And it was like probably the most shame I've ever felt in my whole life. And embarrassed and angry and alone and frustrated and all the things. But it was like I couldn't even give up right. I couldn't even give up right. Like I'm not even good at giving up. Like I wanted the game to be over and I didn't even so I was so frustrated that there was no way for me to avoid doing the work, whatever the fuck that meant. I was willing to go around it in any way. I'll change anything else in my life. Just let me have the champagne. But I stayed sober for 10 days after I got out of jail. I got an IID put in my car for 18 months. That's that blowy thing you have to do.
Right.
But it's not just to start your car. It's called a rolling test. And so like every 15 minutes it goes off and you have to blow into it. So if you have sleeping children, it will wake them up every time. And if you don't blow correctly, your car will start honking and flashing until you pass or you have to turn your car off. So like I did it wrong a handful of times, like in the Starbucks parking lot, right? And it's like your whole fucking car's. I mean, it was just
got to help the healing journey.
But yeah, so like I came home and I'm like, all right, obviously I don't know how to get sober and live life at the same time, which is a huge problem.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I got to go to rehab. But the difference was I chose to go to rehab. I went to rehab because I knew I needed to go to rehab. I didn't go to rehab because somebody told me to. I didn't go to rehab because somebody pushed me out. There wasn't an ultimatum. I went to rehab because I wanted a different life. I wanted to feel different about myself. I wanted to show up differently for my kids. I wanted to be a better daughter. I wanted to find relationships that felt reciprocal. these are things I didn't have and that I wanted. And I kind of thought rehab was going to be like, they put you behind like gates so you can't go buy the alcohol. It's therapy 24/7. You know, like the patients and the clients, they are the teachers. Of course, there's world-renowned therapists, but the best teachers I've ever had are the other people in rehab. They're my best mirror. You know, a lot of people talk to me about, can I tell you my story? Blah, blah, blah. And why do they feel comfortable with me? It's because I've shared mine. They don't have anything to be ashamed of because they know my stuff. And in rehab, you unload your stuff. You put it all out on the table, right? The goal is like not to leave any stone unturned while you're there. Why are you the way you are? Why do you escape the things you're trying to? Why do you look for validation in these places? Everything that you have, like everything you need for your entire life, you have within yourself. And if you don't have it, you can build it. You can create it, but you have to know what you want, right? And I think for a long time, I was willing to settle for a really pretty crappy life, one I wasn't enjoying. And rehab made me realize, like, if I was going to get sober, give up this thing that I thought I loved, the most reliable relationship I've ever had was one with alcohol. It showed up for me every time. And if I was going to give that up, I was not going to give it up to survive. I wasn't going to give it up to survive. No, fuck that. I was going to give up alcohol to have the best fucking life I knew how to have. I want to go do all the things I've been scared to do. I want to travel. I want to do yoga. I want to design stuff. I want to wear what I want to wear. I want to dance in the rain. Like, sobriety has given me this crazy confidence.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fit in a box, and I love that. People don't expect when they look at me to be like, oh, she's an alcoholic who went to jail, has 2 DUIs, fucked up her whole life. Like, that's not what people think when they look at me, which is why it's so important that somebody like me is talking about this. Addiction doesn't discriminate. It's not just for people who live under bridges and don't have a good job. Addiction is everywhere. Doesn't matter what you have or where you came from. Doesn't matter what kind of therapy you have access to. Like, it's a human condition. And addiction takes all of the other stuff away at rehab, and you're all just there working on it, right? Like, the other stuff doesn't matter. What you have doesn't matter. It's about who you are and why you are who you are.
That was so good and helpful. And I have so many places I want to take this. I guess I want to spend more time on like that switch when you have this experience and you realize it's time to change. That point where I think a lot of people get stuck, and I get stuck too, is like guilt, shame, repeating in my mind the thing I did wrong. And when I was saying that I found out I'm a perfectionist, that's the thing for me. It's like, well, I can't do this. I fucked up all those other things, you know? Like, what if I do this thing and the thing I fucked up now affects this thing, and now I can't do that thing, and now I'm stuck. You know, like, how did you, knowing everything that you just said that you went through, that you were experiencing hard things, you also made mistakes, and those things are real, right? How did you like say fuck it and be okay with all of that and then move forward and grow and get where you are right now?
You know, I think because of the way that my drinking ended, right? Like, it was pretty spectacular. There were 2 arrests. There were police cars. There's legal involved. Like, this was not a quiet way to go. Everyone knew that I had gotten DUIs. And so I didn't sort of have the option to come home and be like, oh, I was gone on a retreat for a while.
Yeah.
And like play coy and just be like, oh, I'm turned over a new leaf and now I'm healthy. Like, which is what I think a lot of people do, right?
Yeah.
They go get better, but they don't sort of admit to needing to leave to go get better. And then we just sort of see this sort of new version of them, but nobody talks about what they did or why. And I felt like when I got back, so I was gone for like 62 days. And when I got back, there was like this buzz about the neighborhood, right? People were talking about me and I knew it. Everywhere I went, you could just feel it. And I'm like, here are the options. I can let people tell a story about me that they don't actually know, or I can be in control of the narrative and I can tell my own story. Do I want to be judged for the truth, or do I want to be judged for rumors? So I decided the only way, and this was sort of like two things. One was like, I couldn't be quiet about my sobriety. I didn't have that option. Two was, I didn't trust myself to stay sober. Mikie, just because I went to rehab and stayed sober for 60 days did not mean that I thought, I got this. I was terrified. I was terrified I was going to drink again. I loved alcohol. It's available everywhere. Now I'm getting divorced and I'm alone 50% of my time. I thought I would stay married and get sober and do that, or get divorced and drink like I wanted. Never did I think I would get divorced and stay sober. That was not in my plans. So I'm like, I don't have anyone to hold me accountable because I don't have a husband anymore. My parents are really fucking pissed at me. I don't have friends anymore because I sort of screwed all that up. Who's going to hold me accountable when I get wishy-washy? And I decided that I needed that to be literally everybody, because I had burned the bridges in my real life to the ground and I was basically alone. And so I started an Instagram account called Mocktail Mommy when I was 89 days sober. And I was in Chicago alone at a hotel room for my best friend's wedding the next day, which I was in. So I'm on a party bus by myself in a wedding at 89 days sober. And I check into this hotel and they give me a little happy hour drink tickets because I'm part of the wedding. And at that moment, my choices were have a drink and don't tell anybody and start this whole fucking charade over again, or just own the fact that I suck at drinking. I don't get to drink anymore. I get an F. I cannot figure it out. And I no longer want to. I don't want to. Alcohol is not for me. That's fine if it's for other people, but it's not for me. It makes me the worst version of myself every single time. And I know that. And then when that version of myself is out there, you end up with the wrong people. He liked a drunk version of me. That's not really me.
Mm-hmm.
So I started this Instagram account and I was like, dear everyone, my name's Kristi. I'm an alcoholic. I'm 89 days sober. If you see me drinking, please call 911. People are like, what the hell? Did she just actually say that? Like, isn't she a mom? Yeah, I'm a mom that needs support. I'm a mom that needs help. I'm a mom that needs a community. I'm a mom who needs people who I can be real with. Alcohol was this fake life, this whole fake world. And I got really wrapped up in it. But I want real. I want real connections and real everything. If it's really going to hurt, I'm really going to feel it when I'm sober. But that also means that like when it's good, I really feel that too. Mm-hmm. And like, I've never hurt so much as being sober, but I've also never been more proud or more complete or more fulfilled or more full of joy. And I decided that like I'm unwilling to be a inauthentic version of myself. And that if you couldn't take the fact that I was an alcoholic as part of me, then like I'm probably not meant to be in your life. Because that's just true. I'm an alcoholic, was, always will be, aren't anymore, whatever you want to say. I don't drink alcohol because I had a problem with it. A lot of people have a problem with labels. Alcoholic, they don't want to go to AA because nobody wants to say, hi, my name is, and I'm an alcoholic. That kept a lot of people away for a long time. That kept me away for a long time. Pretending didn't serve me. Pretending I was fine didn't serve me. Pretending I was good didn't serve me. Pretending I was happy didn't serve me. Pretending that life wasn't hard did not serve me. And so I started talking about the hard. And I started saying like, it's hard to know what to do with myself. I just got home from a party. I'm making a tea. Is this weird? I can't decide if I'm proud of myself or I feel like grandma. Is this normal? I want to go drinking. So I'm going to sit in the bathtub because it's harder to go. Like, nobody wants to get out of the bath to dry off to go to the store to get the alcohol. So I'll just stay in the bathtub. I mean, I took a bath. I still do every day. I love bath time.
Sure.
But like, it wasn't easy. And I think the most important thing that I did was like talk about it while it was hard. I'm so tired of people telling me about it after they're through it.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic that you can talk to me at 20 years down the road and tell me that it wasn't so bad. I want to know what it felt like when you were in it. And my Instagram account sort of became this online sobriety journal. And what I didn't anticipate, all I thought it was going to do for me was keep me sober, because I knew that I had told everybody I shouldn't be drinking. I don't want to let people down. I don't want to let anybody down. I don't want to let myself down. And because I so badly didn't want to let myself down, I had to let everybody else know.
And in doing that, you sort of released the burden, right? Like it's interesting. It makes me think of, and I never did this because I'm, Jewish, but that thing where you go in the box with the priest and then you tell him all of the shit that you did, and the priest is like, say 10 Hail Marys, and then you feel better.
Yeah, the confessional. Yes.
Does that feel relatable to?
Yes. Honestly, that's what AA meetings feel like.
Huh.
It's like you go around the room and you like unload the shit that is like stored up in your head that you think you can't say, and you say it out loud.
Mm.
And nobody responds. You just all say your thing. Nobody's going to be like, oh, and Mikey, do you know what I have to say about that? Blah, blah, blah.
Huh.
That's called crosstalk, and that's not allowed. So you just say your thing and then you move on. And it's just held in the room. And then you say pass. And the next person says their thing.
Huh.
And none of them relate, or maybe they do. But we all just share the crazy, and then it feels less crazy. I came up with this quote. It says, keep no secrets, carry no shame.
Love that.
And I don't know like when I came up with it, but I'm a big journaler too. I have my journal with me everywhere I go still. And I'm always writing. And I felt like keep no secrets, carry no shame came out of sort of the mocktail mommy announcement, right? People were so confused. My family was like, what do you think you're doing? Nobody needs to know all of this. Kristi, your grandma doesn't need to know you were in jail. You know what I mean? It's like, hang on, we keep all this stuff private, the bad stuff. And I'm like, no, we don't. I don't. Maybe you guys did. But like, I need all of my life to be allowed to be real, because it is. And I'm not perfect, and I don't want to claim to be. But talking about it, changed the way a lot of other people. I mean, at first, my grandfather it's embarrassing. They thought it was embarrassing to have their daughter she's in rehab again. She's in rehab again. She's gotten 2 DUIs. Like, it's not a fun story to tell. But I think why my story is powerful is because I started talking when it was unresolved. I started sharing in the very messy middle where there wasn't a clear through path. Nobody knew if I was really going to stay sober. Me either.
Sure.
And that made it relatable. And it was very real. And I didn't hold anything back. And these people from all over the world started sending me messages. And I started developing friendships and a support system and a community. And then I got asked to be leading meetings. Me? Lead a sobriety meeting? What? Well, then I did that online for a year for Sober Mom Squad, and I helped thousands of women recover from alcoholism. I do that with another group now called the Sober Mom Life Cafe. It's this online support group where we just hold space for talking about how to do life without alcohol. You don't have to say you're an alcoholic. You just have to be curious about what it means to live without it.
Have you found that that's more appealing or accessible, because when you were talking about people don't want to do AA, people don't want to say, hi, I'm an alcoholic. And like, I hear them like, yeah, no shit. Like,
Yep.
do you have to go to that extreme end? And I think that's where maybe people probably get lost, even like myself, where it's like, I don't know, yeah, I drink. I've done plenty of dumb shit while I'm drinking, but maybe not, knock on wood, as far to the point where I now need to go to meetings, but there's really no middle ground. It is fuck everything up to the point where you've now need to make that aggressive choice, or hold on for dear life and hope for the best,
Yeah, it's sober curious, right? That's like the term.
Okay.
Sober curious.
Huh.
Ruby Warrington wrote a book called Sober Curious. It's amazing. And I think, that is an issue of why people don't get help when they really actually could still help themselves without rehab, is because we don't normalize needing help until you've gotten to legal, you know what I mean? Like, you have ruined your relationship, got fired from your job, have a DUI, blah, blah, blah. The first time I went to rehab, none of those things had happened to me. And the people in rehab were like, why are you here? You're not bad enough. Here's what we should be saying. Why do we ever need to get bad enough to want to get better?
Right.
Why can't we just want to get better from where we are? So the sober curious movement is saying it's a slippery slope. It was so slippery and quick for me, right? It was quick. I don't know when it happened, but at some point, my alcoholism had gone over the edge and I no longer had any control. I was already on the slide and going down, and I couldn't stop drinking even when I wanted to, right? But you never know when that's going to happen. And sober curiosity is like, I'm climbing this addiction path, but I'm going to stop up here, right? Before I go over this thing and have all these terrible consequences. And I just want to know, what would it look like if I didn't have to get sober because I went down this slide? But what would it look like if I just got off the ride over here and chose to be sober? Choosing to be sober is a really empowering move. Having to get sober, being told you have to get sober, feels degrading.
Sure.
Choosing to live a life without a carcinogen is a good choice. Choosing better is better than removing something you can't have. It's again like that perspective, right? But this sober curiosity, this Sober Mom Life Cafe is all about regular women and drinking 3 glasses of wine a week or whatever. Is it serving us? Does it help? Is it helping you be your best self? Is it a crutch? Like, do you want it? Do you not want it? Do you want to spend the time, the mental time and energy thinking about what it's doing to you and if it's worth it? So this space is for talking about that. And I think spaces like that are really important, and they haven't been offered before. This was sort of a post-pandemic thing. When AA shut down, nobody knew what to do. And so these groups started popping up. And then people were like, wait, can I be in this group? I'm curious, but I've never gone to a meeting, but I don't want to say I'm an alcoholic. You don't have to, right? These kind of meetings, you don't have to say, hi, my name is such and so, and I'm a whatever. You don't have to identify at all. You can just listen or you can share. Your camera can be on or off. Your name can be iPhone 23. It can be anonymous or not. I think offering people options, places to recover, other options to drink, like making sobriety not seem like a lifelong, death sentence of fun, which is what I thought for the longest time. I don't want to be lame and sober. I don't feel lame and sober. I feel happy, and like I'm doing important stuff.
Yeah. Quickly, advice for those who might want to be sober curious, but also love going out and having a cocktail.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Ew.
Well, there's a lot of things you can do. I would say some of the things that are easy to do would be like listening to a handful of podcasts just to get a knowledge about actually what alcohol is, right? The Huberman Lab has a really amazing podcast about alcoholism. It's like an hour and a half. Great episode. Mel Robbins has a great episode. There's a bunch of recovery podcasts, but maybe if you're sober curious, listening to something like Sober Curious, like Ruby Warrington's book, or This Naked Mind by Annie Grace is sort of the consumable science behind addiction and why we respond the way that we do. And it makes alcohol very unsexy, which I think was helpful to reframe what I thought alcohol was versus what it actually is. Listening to something like that, telling somebody how you feel, find somebody you trust and talk to them about, I'm curious about my relationship with alcohol. When you're out, right? Drink mindfully. That, I sell mocktails at my store, and there are so many people who buy spirit replacements, right? Like a non-alcoholic tequila or whatever. And they'll have a regular margarita. And then their second one, they'll make non-alcoholic because they don't want a hangover in the morning. So you can, I think what I wouldn't suggest is like isolating at home, stop all social connection, stay at home and be like, I'm going to white knuckle it and stay sober. You will be miserable.
Right.
And it probably won't work. Right? Like we want the experience of connection and a fancy cocktail. You can get that without the alcohol. So if you're really there for the experience, that's available without the alcohol at a lot of places now. But otherwise, bring your own, drink less, make rules for yourself and see if you can uphold them. Because I made rules for myself and I always broke them.
Sure.
I'd be like, well, I'm not going to drink. I'm only going to drink on Thursday and Friday and Saturday. But then something would come up and I would break them. So it's like, think about why, right? Like, why would you want to get sober? Why would you want to remove alcohol? The most important part of sobriety is your why. Why did I want to get sober? Because I wanted to stop hating myself. I wanted to be able to look myself in the mirror and be proud of the woman that I saw. That's why I got sober. I was so sick and fucking tired of myself doing the wrong thing. Sure. And I knew it could be better.
And good segue. It has gotten better. And you've opened a store. And it sounds like that store is kind of kicking ass. Why don't we tell that version of the story?
Completely unplanned, right? I knew after getting sober that I wanted to be in this space somehow. I became a certified recovery coach. And then I did that work, but I felt like it wasn't making the impact I wanted to make in the way I wanted to make it. I felt like sobriety was something I was scared of because I had no one to look to or nowhere to look at and be like, these people are sober and fun and inspiring. Last January, I saw an Instagram post and it was like, not a 10-week course on the non-alcoholic space. And I was like, oh, that's sort of interesting. And I was like, there've been so many drinks online that I want to try and I can't find anywhere to buy them. And I don't want to order 24 of the same flavor and hope I like it because they're expensive. So I'm like, yeah. And 3 weeks into that, I started looking for retail spaces. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know that this lit something up in me that it's like, holy shit, Kristi, you want to build a cute, fun, sober space for people? You should. And I'm like, but I don't sell anything. Well, people want non-alcoholic beverages. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing this thing in the number one drinking state in the United States of America. I am going to open the very first non-alcoholic bottle shop. First one in the state. People think I'm nuts. I opened on my 5 years sober. I thought 20 people would come to my opening. I have a store that's 650 square feet downtown and 400 people came. Who are these people? How did they find out about me? What am I going to serve them all? Like, it was, and I was like, wait, what, how do you, and it was such a thing. Mikie, I didn't realize that kind of what you said earlier. It's like, what if you're not an addict?
Right.
You don't have to get sober, but you don't necessarily need to drink all the time. I forgot about that space. And those are the people who are showing up. They are here for it. People are there because they want to have the same experience, but drink less. They want to get together on a Tuesday night, but after their second old fashioned, they're going to switch to a non-alcoholic old fashioned so that they can get up in the morning and do their workout or whatever. People on medicine, Old people on medicine should not be drinking alcohol. It's making your medicine not work. Anyone on an antidepressant, okay? I hate to break it to you, but alcohol is a depressant. It is not going to work with your meds. You're going to think your meds aren't working.
Right.
Yeah, I did that for many, many years. I'm like, these meds suck. It's like, oh, could it be alcohol?
No, can't be.
No. Pregnant people on a health journey, people doing triathlons. And then you have people who are like, okay, I have my brother's in recovery. And we've all decided we want to support him. And so we're all drinking this way. And this is the drink we're going to have at our Christmas thing. And it's a non-alcoholic whatever. But it's like a way to support people, a way to include people, right? We want the celebration without the alcohol. We want to be a part of. So my store is called Sober Social. And people are like, that's a terrible name. Nobody will come. If you're not sober, you're not going to come. That has not been the case at all. Many people told me, Sober Social is a terrible name. Nobody's going to want to come and be like, I'm sober. Okay, I'm sober and I'm really fucking proud of it. But like, you don't have to be sober to shop at my store. Just like you don't have to be an alcoholic to shop at a liquor store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Versus what? Changing the name to hide it. And then that's like a little bit of shame. And you're saying, be proud, sober and proud.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that is what I'm offering people, right? Like, here's a place where you can come and you can be proud of your sobriety. And in fact, I'm proud of mine and you can be proud of yours and we can talk about it together. And then if you want to be included in social situations, you can say, this is where I get stuff. I always say you don't have a full bar unless you have non-alcoholic options. Don't tell me you have a full bar service if you have water and alcohol. That's not a full bar. That's not serving everyone, right? Like we are, like the goal of my store, the slogan is bridging the gap between sobriety and society.
It's great.
And that's what I want to do. I don't want it to be this sober people on this side, drinking people on this side. We should all be able to be connected because we should all be able to find something to have in our glass that works for us so that we can all be at the same place.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want.
I love that. What type of things? Because there's like non-alcoholic beer, obviously, but I've also seen stuff where it's like, it's got, I don't know, essential oils that'll make you feel kind of chilled out and like it has effects other ways. Are you selling stuff like that too?
Yes. So they're called functional beverages.
Okay.
So they have, I don't sell THC right now. I haven't decided if I'm going to. That's like, sober people have a big opinion about that, right? Can you be sober if you use THC? Aren't you, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know what I'm going to do personally about THC. Right now, I don't have it, but I have non-alcoholic beer, non-alcoholic wine, spirit replacements, which are like a non-alcoholic tequila or rum or whatever. And then I have functional beverages, which are drinks that give you a positive health benefit from drinking it and generally make you feel something. So they have things like lion's mane mushrooms, reishi mushrooms, ashwagandha extract, cordyceps, lemon balm, L-theanine, and they are meant to sort of do different things, but a lot of them are help you sort of relax. So I have a product called Little Saints. It's a functional tequila. It's got lion's mane and reishi mushrooms in it, and it makes you feel really relaxed. Like you kind of have a body high, but your brain is functioning exactly as if you were sober.
Huh. And then can you have too much of that? Like what if you drink a bottle of lion's mane? Are you going to?
No.
Yeah.
And people are like, can you drive on this? Is this going to make... Yes, you can drive on it. No, it's not going to make you anything. Another really fun one, I don't know if you're familiar, kava.
Yeah, I have a bar down the street that I went to one time, but I didn't know what it was. And the guy was like pushing it pretty hard. And I was like, all right, I drank it and my face went numb and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, so functionals are like plant extracts, right? So it's like, these are all made from plants. So kava is another functional. I have this one called Kava Haven that I drink.
Okay.
And it's so good. And you can like feel it on your palate. Like it makes your mouth all tingly. When I drink Kava Haven, 20 minutes later, I am giggly like as if I'm high on weed. Like giggly AF. Super giggly. It's great. And there's nothing bad for you in it. And in general, all of these are healthier options. There's lower sugar, less calories, like more mindful ingredients across the board. Like a lot of the stuff that I have in my store, my most popular items are not a replacement for something. There's a functional, which is its own flavor. It's not trying to be a tequila that's almost a tequila, right? It's its own thing. I have a brand called Droma. It means dream in Danish.
Okay.
And it has all these sort of like ingredients in there. And it is like ginger, melon, and like Szechuan pepper. It is so good. So it's like you use it like a shot. You take like 1.5 ounces of it and put it in with a mixed drink. Or you put it in to like a hot raspberry tea before bed.
Okay.
So like I used to have wine before bed. That was sort of like, I'm relaxing now. Now it's time for bed to have my wine and read because I'm going to bed.
Sure.
Now I have tea with lion's mane mushrooms in it. And I get a little bit of an effect, right? Without affecting my next day.
Right. You don't wake up at 3 a.m.
Looking for more, anxious.
Yeah. Do you have an online store? Because I want to buy some of this stuff.
I do not have like an online store yet. So, like I said, like I did not plan on opening a business.
Get it?
So,
launch your online empire. Is it any legal? Because it's not alcoholic, right? So you don't have to worry about selling stuff online. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I can, like, I'm able to ship.
Yeah.
I just don't like, I haven't announced that I'm shipping because I have nowhere for all that inventory.
Whole other thing. Sure.
But, we'll figure it out. You can tell me what you want. And I ship it to friends all the time.
Bye. I'll trade you a cat. His name's Beans. I'll ship him out to you.
I'm allergic. I don't want him.
I used to be too, but my ex-girlfriend, Alex, she wanted to adopt a bunch of cats. And it turns out that if you inundate, despite deathly allergic, you can inundate yourself with the thing. And then after a couple of years, you'll be fine. So she turned me into a cat lady.
No.
It's a joke.
Mm-mm.
I know.
No, see, I really like that, like, now when I don't have my kids, I also don't have any animals to take care of. So, like, I just, like, peace out and travel.
Good for you. Yeah. I mean, I love my cats. I was adopting the cat on a date a good idea? No, in hindsight, but this is how we learn.
Yes.
Plus, I've got the electronic robot shitter box and the electronic feeders. So it's basically like having roommates. I don't have to do much. They just hang out. You're great at telling your story and you're really good at presenting everything. So this was really good.
It was really good. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you for coming and congrats on just kicking ass, getting it all together.
Oh.
Happy for you.
Thanks.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the School of Imperfection podcast. If you are interested in exploring these ideas and more with us, don't forget to follow and subscribe to catch every future episode. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave us a rating or send us an email to share your thoughts through www.theschoolofimperfection.com. We're always looking for more guests as well. So if you feel like you have an interesting perspective or a topic our podcast has not covered or has, we'd love to connect with you. I'm your host, Mikie Kristi. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.